Good morning, everyone. I hope you all are doing very well. Today we are talking about the population of Canada. Do you know what is population? Population means how many people live in a place. So, what is the population of Canada? How many people live in Canada? We know Canada is the second largest country in the world. So, do you think there are a lot of people in Canada? Or do you think there are less people in Canada? Do you think the population of Canada is very big? Do you think there are lots of people? Or do you think the population of Canada is less? Let's look. So here we have a table with the number of people in each province in Canada. So, do you remember that Canada has 5 regions? One region is called Atlantic region. And we have 4 provinces in the Atlantic region. We also have Central Canada, and there are how many provinces? 2. 1, 2. We also have Prairie provinces. This is a region. And how many provinces are in the Prairie region? 1, 2, 3. We also have the West Coast, and there's only 1 province in the West Coast. And the last the last region is the North with 3 territories. So let's look at the population of each province in each region. So the first province in the Atlantic region is Newfoundland and Labrador. How many people live in Newfoundland and Labrador? So this is the population from 2020, so this year. Let's read. 521,365. Let's say that again. 521,365. Do you think that's a lot of people? Maybe. Not too much, though. Only 521,000. What about Prince Edward Island? Oh, do you remember Prince Edward Island is a very, very small province. It's the smallest province in Canada. How many people are in Prince Edward Island? 158,158. Only. Not many people. Okay, and this is the population of Nova Scotia. This is the population of New Brunswick. So overall, in the Atlantic region, do you think there are lots of people? The population is very high? Or do you think the population is very low? I think the population is quite low in the Atlantic region because the place is very small and also not a lot of people. Central Canada, Quebec, and Ontario. What do you think? Do you think there will be more population in Quebec and Ontario or less? Let's look. Quebec has 8,537,674 people. So this is now in the millions. And remember, Quebec is the biggest province in Canada. It is so big, right? But there's only 8 million people. What about Ontario? This is our province. How many people live in Ontario? Let's look. What is this number? 14 million, okay? 14 million 711,827. So 14 million people in Ontario. I think this is the largest population in Canada. So the most people in Canada, they live where? In Ontario. Most amount of people live in Ontario. The population is the largest. If you see, there are no provinces with 14 million people. This is the highest, right? This is the highest. There's no province with 14 million people. What about Manitoba, Saskatchewan, Alberta, the prairie provinces? We have about 1 million in Manitoba, 1 million in Saskatchewan, 4 million in Alberta. So again, not too many, but the land is very, very big. What about British Columbia in the west? We have 5,110,917. So still not too many people. 5 million. The land is still very big. What about in the north? Now, north is very, very, very cold. So do you think there are going to be a lot of people or a larger population in the north? Probably not. Probably not. Let's look. So Nunavut has 39,097 people. Okay, it's not even in the hundreds. There's only two numbers. See here we have three numbers, so two numbers. We just say 39,000 only and 97 people. Not a lot at all. Northwest Territories have 44,000 people, 904, and Yukon has 41,078 people. So very, very little amount of people because it is so very cold in the north. Okay, what about the population of all of Canada? How many people live in Canada? Total, we say total means everyone together, is 37,894,799. Okay, so approximately, meaning about 37.8 million. Okay, 37.8 million. So do you think the population of Canada is very big, or do you think the population of Canada is very less? Tell me. You can let me know in a message. Okay. All right. So this is the population of Canada. What about the people? What kind of people live in Canada? Do you know? Let's look at some types of people that live in Canada. All right. So there are three kinds of people, Canada's people. There are three kinds of people that live in Canada. Do you know what they are? Let's look. The Canadian population, right, the people of Canada, includes, means it has, the Canadian population has three kinds of people. Aboriginal people. Aboriginal, try saying with me. Aboriginal people. French and English-speaking people, and immigrants. Okay, so three kinds of people. Number one, Aboriginal peoples. Number two, French and English-speaking people. And number three, immigrants. Which kind of people do you think you are? Which kind? Okay, let's read about some of these people. The first one, Aboriginal people. Do you know what is Aboriginal? Aboriginal means the people who were in Canada first. The first people of Canada, all right? They lived in Canada before anybody came. Aboriginal people lived in Canada before the arrival, before somebody arrived. Who arrived? Of European settlers. So people from Europe, before they came to Canada, the Aboriginal people already lived there. They are the original people. Original means real people of the land. There are 3 groups of Aboriginal people. There are 3 kinds, their names, okay? There's 3 names of Aboriginal people. Their names are First Nations. First Nations. We have the Inuit, and we have the Métis, okay? 3 kinds, First Nations, Inuit, Métis. These are the names of the Aboriginal people, the types of people. Okay, where do they live? First Nations and Métis, these 2, number 1 and number 3, they live in all parts of Canada. You will find them everywhere. They will live in some in British Columbia, some Ontario, some Quebec, some New Brunswick. They're all over. But the Inuit live primarily, meaning mainly, mostly, in the north. So you will find Inuit Aboriginal people. They live usually in the north, which means what? What is the north? Nunavut, Yukon, Northwest Territories, right? The territories. They live in the north. So they like to live in the cold areas. Okay, the second type of people are the French and English Canadians. French and English speaking people first settled in Canada in the 1600s. Do you know what is settled? Settled means they came to Canada and they made Canada their home. Okay, that is what settled means. So for you, for example, you are also settled in Canada because you came to Canada and you made it your home. But the first people who came to Canada and made it their home are the French and English speaking people. They came to Canada when? In the 1600s. What is 1600s? For example, right now we're in the 2020, right? Our year is 2020. But remember, when it was 1600s, they came to Canada. Where did they come from? They came from Europe. They came from France, from England, Wales, Scotland, and Ireland. So all over Europe, the French and English speaking people came to Canada and made it their home. They settled in Canada. Okay, so that's the second type of people. We got the Aboriginal, we got the French and English Canadian. Now, what about number 3? Who are the people of Canada? Immigrants to Canada. Immigrants. What are immigrants? Immigrants are people from every different country, all different countries who come to Canada and make it their home. Okay, so let's read. Approximately means about 20% of Canadians were born outside of Canada. 20% out of 100%, okay? 20% of Canadians are not born in Canada, they are born outside Canada. Until the 1970s, most Canadian immigrants came from Europe. So before, long time ago, 1970s, the people that came to Canada mostly were from Europe, right? So France, England, Wales, Scotland, Ireland, different places from Europe. But since then, the majority means most people, most immigrants, okay, have come from Asian countries, Asia. Do you remember what continent you are from? Right? Most likely you are from Asia, maybe Africa. So most immigrants now, they are coming from Asia, different countries in Asia. Okay, Canada is often called, meaning the name of Canada is a land of immigrants. So there are many, 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 many immigrants that come to Canada. So it's called the land of immigrants. So many people from so many different countries. Immigrants have played an important role in helping to build Canada. So immigrants are an important part of Canada. Okay, they are very important because there are only 3 kinds of people in Canada, right? We have Aboriginal, French and English immigrants. So immigrants, they are 20% of Canadians are immigrants. So lots of people, and they are very important to Canada. All right, so we learned a lot about Canada's people. Now let's go to our homework for today. You will be answering the questions below. Number 1, how many regions does Canada have? 2, how many provinces and territories does Canada have? Which province has the largest population? So we need to go back to our population chart and tell me which has the largest population, which province, and which province has the smallest population. Number 5, how many provinces and territories have more than 1 million people? Okay, how many provinces and territories have more than 1 million people? And what is the population of your province or territory? And number 7, what was the population of Canada in 2011? So this question we are not going to answer, but you can tell me what is the population of Canada now. Okay? All right. Part B is true or false. Let's look at the questions. So we have number 1, the Canadian population includes 3 large groups of people. So this is about the people of Canada, right? The Canadian population includes 3 large groups of people. True or false? 2, Aboriginal people are native people of this land. Native means they are the first people of this land. True or false? 3, there are 4 different groups of Aboriginal people in Canada. Number 4, Métis and First Nations live all over Canada. 5, the Inuit are Aboriginal people living in the south of Canada. 6, European settlers were English and French-speaking people. Settlers are people who come to Canada and make it their home. Remember that? Number 7, they, meaning European settlers, came to Canada around 400 years ago. Number 8, French and English Canadians came from all parts of Europe. 9, Canadians who are born outside of Canada are called immigrants. So what are immigrants? Is this right? True or false? 10, 1 of every 5 people in Canada is an immigrant. 1 out of 5 people in Canada is an immigrant. And number 11, Canadian immigrants came from Asian countries. Okay, so these are true or false. You're going to mark T or F. And the last question, I want you to write this in speaking, okay? Or not write it. Give me the answer in a voice message, please. Discuss with your partner, okay? This sentence. Immigrants have played an important role in helping to build Canada. Do you agree or disagree with this statement? So this is sentence. Immigrants have played an important role in helping to build Canada. What does this mean? Immigrants, people who are not from Canada. They come to Canada from different countries. What have they done? They have played, meaning they have made a very good addition, or they have done good things to build Canada, to make Canada important or very good. Do you think so? Do you agree? Agree, yes. Disagree? No, I don't agree. With this sentence, do you agree, yes or no? Give me 3 reasons why you think so. So I want you to answer this in a voice message. Give me 3 reasons why you think that yes, immigrants have played an important role, or no, I don't think so, immigrants have not played an important role. All right, so this is our homework for today. I hope you enjoyed the lesson. Have a good day, everyone. Bye-bye.